Whoa, that's a bit bright on the light. Alright, so Postal268 here, and I know it has been a while. I've kind of been out of the game, just busy with work, things like that, and I came back. I went to a tournament hoping, hey, it's August, I got, this is the last month before rotation sets in, and, I'll be able to win a few matches, get some store credit together, and buy some cards into the new rotation. Nope. Apparently, ARG decided to switch early, so every store is already following the next rotation. Lovely. So this is, because 50% of my deck, as you know, since it was Kane, is gone. So this is my rough draft, as you would say, to bring it over into the new format. So, obviously, I had to switch my ruler back to Melgis. If anybody doesn't know Melgis, you activate with 2. He flips. You put a stone instantly into play, and if you've got his Regalia on the field, he's got Swiftness. It's just an overall good card. Definitely, for this next rotation, I'm going to be using Melgis, which is what I used to begin with before Kane, but of course Kane is gone. Favorite ruler. First I'm going to go, or after the ruler, we're going to go into the monsters. So I'm running 4 Ruck Eggs, still, even without Cthulhu's, because these are just still really good cards. They die, they go to the grave, you get to add any Fire Resonator from deck to hand. I'm going to have 4 Percivals, thank the Lord these are still in play. If anybody doesn't know, it's 1 light, she hits the field, you look at the top 5 of your deck and pick any Regalia or Knight of the Round Table, add it to your hand. As well as you can pitch her for ruler protection. Now these are some new cards I haven't had a whole lot of experience with yet, but they seemed pretty straight. I got 4 of these Flame Soldiers of Volga. Now they're a 1 cost. Whenever this card is dealt damage, it gains plus 200 and Swiftness until the end of the turn. So these are kind of my replacements for the Apostle of Kane. There's a new field out, which we'll get to that in a minute, but anytime he's dealt damage, which the field will deal 200 to him, he becomes a 5/1 with Swiftness. Same thing as the Apostle of Kane. Unless you have Kane on the field, the Apostle of Kane was a 7/1 with Swiftness, but you can't all have Kane. Next, we're going to go into, and these are all 1 cost Resonators so far. We have, let's see, 12 1 cost Resonators. So we're still looking at pretty similar speed, even without Thugas. These are 2 costs. First, I got 4 copies of the true successor of Serto, Volga. Now, he's a 2 cost. Whenever this card is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to your opponent. So that field spell I mentioned, which we'll get to, will deal damage to him, and he'll deal damage back every draw phase. So that's pretty handy. Of course, we're going to stick with 4 Lancelots. The Knight of Mad Demon. The Knight of Mad Demon. Pretty much everybody in the game knows this card by now. Pay 2, hits the field, has Swiftness. If you have to attack with this card first, if you're going to attack. And if this card were to reach 1,000 or more attack, it'll deal 700 damage to a target Resonator, and you can pay 1 fire to boost this card's attack plus 100 until the end of the turn. So, still a really good card in this format. And of course, Hector. I keep 1 in there because it's a 1-drop if you control a Lancelot, and it'll immediately boost Lancelot up to 1,000 attack. So it's just a good combo with Lance. Then I have 1 copy of Gareth, the Dauntless Knight. Mainly, I needed something else to throw in there, and it's not that bad. It doesn't, if it would be dealt damage 700 or less, you prevent it. So it works really good with this deck of dealing damage to its own monsters. So now we'll get into the spells, and since everybody knows every spell I use, like Thunder and Split Heaven and Earth, all that is gone. Alright, so moving on to the spells, we have 4 Sanguine Arena. Now these are extremely interesting. You tap them, they deal 200 damage to each Resonator, and they're only a 1-drop, so you can get them out first turn, or second turn really easily, since a lot of the stuff in this deck is low cost. And dealing 200 damage to every resonator on the field really opens up nice combos with Volga, whenever he gets damage dealt to him, deals it back to the opponent. And it sets up good combos with Demon Flame. It's a 1-drop spell. Choose one. This card deals 500 damage to target resonator, or destroy target resonator that was dealt damage this turn. Which, yeah, that's an empty sleeve. I traded off more of my Demon Flames than I would have liked. I thought I had 4, I only had 3, but gonna get a 4th one. I'm gonna be 4 Demon Flames. And actually, those are the only 2 spells. So now for the Regalia, I run 4 Gleatneers. These are just good for consistency, shorten your deck. And they're good for draw power if you get your ruler out. Either way, overall, good card. Oh, and it gives you control. You can pick who's going to block. Then I run 4 Leviathan Swords, because that's just super important. It gives your ruler swiftness. It gives him imperishable. It boosts how much damage he does. You can't run Melgis without Leviathan Swords. And then 2 Excaliburs, because they give him target attack, and you can tap them to give him +2/+2. And if you don't have a Leviathan Sword, or just given any kind of situation where you would need imperishable and for some reason you can't get it, you can destroy this card and give him imperishable. And that's the deck. All from there is my stones. And I run 4 light fire stones. Since the new Vingolf set is out, we have dual stones again. And I run 6 fire stones. Now, this will see some changes once I actually get back in the scene and start playing. I just did a few test runs with this deck, and it worked out really well. So, I was really disappointed losing Kane and everything, but I think in the end, this is a more combo-y and a more powerful deck in all. So, thanks for watching. This has been Postal268. You guys have a nice night.